الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله رب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين وله الكبرياء في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات. ربنا لك الحمد حتى ترضى ولك الحمد إذا رضيت ولك الحمد بعد الرضا. صلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيد الأولين والآخرين محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ملك الحق المبين، وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله وصفيه من خلقه وخليله أمين على وحيه. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, all praise and glory and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We owe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala everything we have. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نَعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. So we're coming today to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all that He has given us. وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. And to remind one another to do this all the time. All the time appreciate the bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be grateful. Be grateful in words and in deeds by using whatever Allah has given you fi sabilillah. And also remember that all your needs are in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So make sure that you show your needs to Allah, for Allah, through prayer and supplication and consistent and persistent dua. My dear respected brother and sister in Islam, inshallah, we're going to continue our series. But I'm going to share with you a thought that came to mind is the more you try to understand this deen and this life, it looks complicated. Things are very intertwined, means they are related, interrelated. But then you feel that the only thing that will make everything fall in place is to have one purpose in life, which is seeking Ridwanullah. And everything, all these complicated matters, every pieces of the puzzle will fall in place. You want happiness in this life? Pursue Ridwanullah. You want to be successful in the hereafter? Pursue Ridwanullah. Do everything you can to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala pleased with you. And then a verse also come to mind. I told you that every now and every time you read Quran, you come across verses that as if you read them for the first time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah An-Nisa says, من كان يريد ثواب الدنيا فعند الله ثواب الدنيا والآخرة. من كان يريد ثواب الدنيا فعند الله ثواب الدنيا والآخرة. If someone wants the rewards of this world, you want to be successful, you want to be happy, the rewards of this world. The rewards of this world and the next are both Allah's to give. They are in the hands of Allah. إن كان يريد ثواب الدنيا فعند الله ثواب الدنيا والآخرة. So we're continuing our series talking about how Islam has a very effective recipe for people to be successful, to be happy, even when the world becomes turbulent. In this turbulent world, and Islam will give you a recipe or roadmap on how you can navigate it and maintain that peace of mind and tranquility regardless of what is happening to you, regardless of what is happening in the world. You are never overwhelmed, you are never confused, but if you follow the Islamic recipe. And we start talking about the main components of this recipe. First, faith and relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That can ensure that peace of mind and serenity and calmness in all conditions and allow you to deal with challenges. Remember Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in one of the worst moments of his life, as he said, told Aisha radiallahu anha, when he was chased by the people of Taif and he was stoned and he was bleeding. So he went to Taif to deliver the message, and the people of Taif were chasing him and stoning him. So he was running, and it was really humiliating and painful for him. Sir Rasul. And he made a famous dua that should be really a motto with which we live. In the middle of it, he said, إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ بِكَ غَضَبٌ عَلَيَّ فَلَا أُبَالِي. Oh Allah, as long you are pleased with me, nothing else matters. So that tells you that always remember that's your ultimate goal, and if that's being achieved, everything else can be handled. Then we talked about knowledge and understanding. Why this is important? Because that gives you clear vision, helps you making the right choices, help you understand what's happening. People, they get stressed out and depressed because they don't understand what's going on. They become confused. And then, of course, health, good health can be very helpful, and that's a religious duty. All of these are the religious duties, by the way. Maintaining good health through exercise, good diet, know what you eat, be aware, have a health awareness and exercise, and do it as a ibadah. Do it as an act of worship and do it consistently. Why? Because it is part of your duties to maintain this body in good shape so that you can fulfill the mission. First of all, because it is an amana, trust, and Allah will be asking you about your time, about the health He gave you, about energy, about everything, money and everything. And then, of course, there is a relationship between the two. There was a saying that many of us know, says, Al-aql al-salim fil-jism al-salim. Sound brain in a sound body. So healthy body will also give you healthy thinking. And then we start talking about the family. The need, if you want to really navigate this world safely, you need the family to be your support system. And then comes anything else, friends, relatives, etc. But the family itself has to be a very strong support system if you want to navigate this world safely. Now, what's common between all these factors? All of them, they are like tree. In order to reap the fruits, you need to work on them. You need to cultivate it. I mean, you don't plant a tree and then get the fruits. You work on the tree for years, watering it and taking good care of it until you can enjoy the fruits. That applies to all of these. Iman needs to be cultivated in order for you to reap the fruits. Same thing, this brain, if you use it properly, if you feed it and you exercise with thinking and you feed it with knowledge, then you can reap the fruits. And the body, of course, same thing, and the family. In order to reap the fruits, you need to work and invest and take good care of these. Iman has to be maintained, strengthened, renewed, upgraded, and that happens through knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and through spiritual exercises. It gives you energy and motivation to do good, and doing good will make you happy. The pure nature, fitra salima, when you do something good, makes you happy. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, "Man sarratuhu hasanatuh." You do something good, makes you happy. Is a believer. Man sarratuhu hasanatuhu wa sa'atuhu sayyatuhu fahuwa mu'min. It gives the ability to restrain yourself from harmful things, and that's also can make you successful. This religion, taqwa, is a self-restraint. You restrain yourself, so you are going to be more successful than the one who cannot restrain themselves from things that can damage them. It gives you the strength and to deal and cope with the challenges and hardship and tests of life. I told you about an example of a person who used to be always anxious and worried about any minor thing will shake him up, and then with the strong religion, strong faith, he became so solid in the face of much harder difficulties and hardship. Knowledge and understanding, feeding, reading, learning, and thinking, exercising. It was narrated, regardless of how authentic the hadith, but it is accepted, at least the meaning of it, that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La burika li fi yawmin la azdadu fihi ilman." La burika li fi yawmin. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, like a day in which my knowledge does not increase. It's a day that was not blessed or cursed. لا بورك لي في يوم لا أزداد فيه علما ولا بورك لي في يوم لا أزداد فيه قربا من Allah. And also the day, if there is a day that passes by and they don't get closer to Allah, that's also a lost day or a day that is not blessed. So لا بورك لي في يوم لا أزداد فيه علما, knowledge. And the other hadith is faith. It's strengthening faith and getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You learn and apply. Learning by itself will give you satisfaction. Believe me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created this body to work, not to rest. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created our mind to work. So when you use them, you will find satisfaction. Just get used to it. It may be difficult in the beginning, but before you know it, you become addicted to reading and learning, and you feel something missing if a day passes by and you don't read something or you don't learn something. A person who is balanced person, successful, balanced person, will feel the need in those three departments. If they don't work on their faith, they feel that something is wrong. It's like if they don't exercise or if they don't learn something, they feel there is something. Why? Because they established a balance between these, and therefore if any one of them falls behind, they can feel it. All of these again require investment and cultivation, and also requires protection. So guarding your senses to protect your faith, guarding your senses to protect your thinking and your mind, and guarding, so they require cultivation and requires protection. We talked about the need if you want to implement this recipe effectively, you have to understand your roles and fulfill them to the best of your ability. And one of the critical roles are to be a spouse and to be a parent. Actually, all these three steps, they can help you succeeding in these two roles. If you work on your iman, if you are learning and maintaining good health, will help you succeeding in establishing and managing your family, and we'll see how. Why? Because these three steps or requirements, spirit, mind, and body, make you at peace with yourself. And people or a person cannot give that which they don't have. You cannot establish a peaceful family if you are not at peace with yourself. A lot of problems that I see between spouses is one or both. They have tension inside. They don't know what they want. So if someone has that tension and it's not cleared, there is no way there can be a healthy relationship. Because a healthy relationship can be only between two people who are at peace with themselves. And how to be at peace with yourself is by following those and satisfying those requirements. Now, for the family, I mentioned that Quran made it clear that there is a mission statement for the family. Verse in Surah Rum, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ جَعَلَ لَكُم مِنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وأن خلق لكم من أنفسكم أزواجا لتسكنوا إليها وجعل بينكم مودة ورحمة. Another of his signs is that he created spouses from among yourselves for you to live with in tranquility. He ordained love and kindness. So the responsibility of the two spouses is to maintain that tranquility, that love, and that kindness. From day one, there is a mission statement for this partnership. And that's the responsibility of both. Sakina, mawadda, rahma, and keeping shaitan out. Why keeping shaitan out is critical? Because if shaitan gets in, relationship is gone. If shaitan managed to get in between spouses and in any, and we have seen what shaitan did with the brothers of Yusuf. If he gets in a family, he can destroy it. So it is the responsibility of both spouses to keep it out, and there are ways to do this. So we said that family is two individuals who decided to merge their lives together. That's why they call it Sharik Hayat, life partner. It's like partnership in business. It's this even more critical. So they decided to link their happiness and success and make it and become dependent on one another. Dependent on one another to succeed and to be happy in this life. We talked about the premarital. People have to know each other very well and ensure that there is compatibility. So this marriage has a chance of succeeding. And then we talked about the importance of reading, especially for practicing young Muslims. Why? Because practicing young Muslims don't establish relationships with the other gender, so they have no clue. So unless they read, they're going to mess it up. And that's what is happening, unfortunately. That's what is happening a lot of time, is people, being a spouse is a skill and a profession. It requires learning. It requires learning. I told last time, and by now everybody should know, that man and woman are very different creations. Makhluqat, very different. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created them this way to complement one another. And the more you read, the more you see the difference. Man is more visual. Woman is more auditory. That's a very big difference. Man tends to be more logic. It's not like woman is not logic, but women prioritize emotion over logic. So if you are talking logic, you know that you are messing it up. It's not clicking, because that's not the communication style for women. One time, I had a situation where a woman was complaining, and she said that I feel like I'm talking with a computer. There's always logic, always, maybe the man was math teacher or a computer programmer, so he was talking the same language at home, and things are not working. Out of ignorance, a lot of men treat women like a man, and then, by the way, they complain later on when they see some masculinity or lack of femininity in their wives. But you made it. When you treat your wife like a man, then you should not be complaining. Other major differences: communication styles and emotional needs. Communication styles and emotional needs. You know what experts say? In order for you to know how to communicate with the other gender, it's like learning a new language. As simple as that. Imagine you going to talk to someone who knows only Chinese or knows German. So you have to learn that language, otherwise you're not going to understand each other. So they're saying that to that point, effective communication with the other gender requires as if learning a new language. If people do not understand and respect those differences, that marriage is not going to work. It's going to become a dysfunctional marriage sooner or later. Lot of differences. Just one example. They say that men look for solutions. So when their wife talk about the problem, we jump to say this is the solution. They don't want that. But they want to talk through a problem because of need for emotional support. So that's why there is total miscommunication. You're jumping to the solution, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking for something else. So understanding and respecting and adapting to each other's needs is a requirement for success of marriage. We talked about the need for listening, active listening to understand. Avoid argumentation by any means. Any discussion that is heading toward argumentation, stop it. There is no point. Jadal. And we mentioned the hadith. Appreciation. Building credits during good times so that there is a caution. investing early on, because I have seen cases, number of cases, where marriage explode later on. And in the beginning, I was shocked. So you lived all these times and your children grow up and get married. And now you're thinking about it. It turns out that there was things were not working all this time, but there was only resentment building up and then it exploded. So make sure that does not happen. Deal with the problems and differences like a sin. Rasul tells us that how do we take care of a sin? You try to eliminate it or erase it by repentance and istighfar so that it doesn't build up. Same thing in relationships. Any problems, try to dissolve it quickly so that it does not pile up, it does not build up. And subhanAllah, the Quran tells us a way to do that. وَأَتْبِعَ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا. وَأَتْبِعَ الْحَسَنَةَ Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the Quran, إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ سَيِّئَاتِ. إِنَّ الْحَسَنَاتِ يُذْهِبْنَ سَيِّئَاتِ. So something bad, you did something bad, quickly apologize and do something good to erase it so that it doesn't become a nucleus for bigger problems. Because that's what Rasul tells us. A sin that is not taken care of is going to lead to a bigger sin. So quickly erased. A problem that is not dissolved quickly is going to lead to bigger problem. So everybody needs to understand their role and fulfill it to the best of your ability, and then understand the other side. Put yourself in their shoes. If you do that reading and learning, now you have the background. You can put yourself in their shoes. So there is a mission statement, and people, they have to know that their common job, it's a job, the duty of both, is to build the harmonious family that raises happy and successful children. Marriage is just the beginning. And a lot of time we treat it as if it is the end. Marriage is not the harvest season. Marriage is the beginning of a journey. So people, they have to understand that, and don't think that mission accomplished. No, marriage is the beginning, it's not the end. Some of the things that can be very helpful and are needed is to not to come close things that are irreversible. What are things that are irreversible? Means they cannot be fixed. One is trust. If trust is lost, you cannot fix it. So lying or cheating, or that's not on the table. Because if trust is broken, you cannot fix it. It's like a cup made of glass, broken. Respect. If it is lost, it cannot be fixed. People have a self-esteem. So, and how do we maintain this? Maintain trust by being honest, and maintain respect by watching your words. قُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ يَنْزَغُ بَيْنَهُمْ. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. Nobody wants and nobody should be cornered, and nobody should be humiliated. So keep the self-esteem for your spouses and for your children also. So people, they have to understand again from the beginning that everyone, each one of them has a mission and role in the partnership. And of course, we have a mission in life, and we are here to help each other fulfilling that mission that we created for. And these roles, each one of them help their spouse to fulfill their role, or help their partner to fulfill their role. So the spirit should be that we're going to do everything to make it work, and failure is not an option. Now here, there is something in our culture that has to be fixed. That we got used to failure, so used that it became okay. In our culture, failure is okay as long as I can blame it on you. So now we are both, marriage has failed, but if I can prove that it's not my fault, it's yours, then that's fine. So that should not be the spirit. The issue is failure is not an option and we're going to win together. It's not we. It's not me versus you. And this idea of blaming or who is at fault should not be there. We're not in a court. Now we are a team who are determined to win those challenges. Key to this is also healthy communication. Listen to understand, no argumentation. It's okay to disagree. Try to convince and compromise. Keep these two key words in any discussion: possibility of compromise and only convincing. This idea of twisting arm or forcing your way, it's very bad. It always backfires. Even if you can make it, it's going to backfire. It's going to pay the price for it. And as I said last time, what goes around comes around. So make sure that it's all with convincing. It's not about forcing your way or twisting the arm of anybody. Healthy communication, again, convince and compromise, and find the formula. There are some areas where men should be allowed to make decisions. There are some areas women need space to make decision in certain matter. And then in between, they have to find the formula. Now, the formula in Islam, we cannot vote, cannot have a majority. So the formula, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ فَإِذَا عَزَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ. Believe it or not, the most successful families that I have seen are the ones who consult, but consult seriously and honestly, not formality. It's not like I know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to consult, and then I'm going to do whatever I had. No. Consult ashiru alayya, to your spouse and to your children. What do you think we should do about this? Listen carefully and be ready to accept. If you do that, people will be happy because they participate in the decision. Even if you didn't take the opinion of one of them, maybe it was a mixed opinion, you mixed all the opinions, but at the end of the day, if people participate, they will be satisfied. شاورهم في الأمر فإذا عزمت فتوكل. And here, people who were consulted should not try to force their opinion. Say, father or husband consulted with the family. There are 3 opinions. At the end of the day, either he took combination or he took one of the opinion. Nobody should be offended, because otherwise we won't be able to do anything. So it should never turn into power struggle. It's okay to be an advisor. I mean, the idea of being an advisor in our culture, it is something that, why? Because we know there is only one president, it's one man show, one boss. That's not true. The most successful presidents are the ones who have very good advisors. So if a husband is listening and really dealing with his wife as an advisor, but with respect, women should not be offended. It's good to be advisor and to give your opinion, and that's okay. Let them decide. It's not, because there is no other option. As I said, there is no majority possible. The other alternative is to be fighting. It's to be power struggle, who's going to get their way through. Another thing to know, and this is probably going to close with it today, it's that a lot of time one of the spouses need to vent out. And that's especially for women. Maybe because of the abuse they go through, they're patient, they keep accepting things, and then sometimes they just explode. If that happens, let it go. Just remember that somebody is venting out or accumulated anger. There is a story that one of the companions went to Omar ibn Khattab to complain about his wife doing that. Shakwa. So his wife is always like, every now and then, start complaining and venting out anger. So he knocked on the door. After knocking on the door, he heard that Omar's wife is doing the same thing, and Omar was listening. Omar ibn Khattab, yani. Omar ibn Khattab, the one who is really so charismatic, yani. And then his wife was saying, you is this, you that, you did this, you did that, and he was listening. So Umar ibn Khattab noticed that the man has left. So went, opened the door and called him, what did you do? Why did you come? He said, I was coming to complain and I found that you have the same problem. So Umar ibn Khattab told him a lesson that why we should accept this, because he started mentioning all the good things that his wife was doing to him, which means basically we should tolerate this because of all the other good stuff. We should not forget about what they do for us. So that's just something that to keep in mind, because a lot of time, if we don't remember this, then we get into, no, let it be. Even husband, out of stress, work stress or whatever, sometimes they just have to vent out, let it happen and let it go, and that's not the time to fight or to reply. Apology can make big difference, dissolving problems before they accumulate. You made a mistake, it's my fault, I'm sorry. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Those who apologize and acknowledge their mistakes are the strong people. The weak, shaky people, they don't. They try to be perfect. No, I didn't. I'm always right. No, that's not true. Nobody is always right and nobody is infallible. So keep these things in mind and remember to keep shaitan out, because if shaitan gets in things, remember what he was able to do to the Yusuf brothers, he can do it to any family. وَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ إِنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونستهديه ونتوب إليه. نعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. With the respected brother and sister in Islam, inshallah, for the sake of time, we close. We'll come back to the parenting next time, inshallah. But just to tell you, going back to the story of Yusuf alayhi salam and his brothers, how they could have kept shaitan out. One, to remember their roles. Older brothers should take care of their young brothers, not kill him or get rid of him. So if they remember their role, same thing between spouses. If everybody remember their role, shaitan will be kept out. Number two, if they thought about halal and haram, they will know that they could have kept shaitan out, because what shaitan was suggesting is haram. Getting rid of their young brother or killing him. If they thought about the boundaries and halal and haram, they would have kept shaitan out. Third, communication. If they went and communicated with their father, they would have kept shaitan out. But shaitan managed to make them forget their role, forget their boundaries, and do not communicate, so that he dictates what they do. And he was successful in doing that. So keeping shaitan out of the house is critical for a successful family. ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا ووفنا وانت راض عنا واختم بالصالحات أعمالنا واجعل خير أعمالنا خواتمها وخير أيامنا يوم نلقاك ومتعنا اللهم بالنظر إلى وجهك الكريم. ربنا ارحم والدينا كما ربونا صغارا وارحم موتانا وجميع موتى المسلمين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. صلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وأقم الصلاة.